Right, now before we get into this video, I need to just talk to you about something. Remember, you are my subscribers. I adore you, I love you, and therefore I'm going to tell you something now that is incredibly important. I'm going to talk to you about a VPN. Now trust me, everyone in the world needs a little bit of VPN action in their life. I was brand new to VPNs. I didn't understand quite how wonderful they were, but trust me, it has elevated my life beyond recognition. NordVPN. They are the perfect place to go for all of your VPN needs. Make sure that you check them out. The link is in the description below, and they have been kind enough to partner with me on this video. Have you ever been on Twitter, or whatever it's called now, and a goal has popped up, and you can't watch it because you were in the wrong location? Has that ever happened to you? It probably has. It hasn't happened to me. Do you know why? Because of NordVPN. Booking flights. You ever heard of something called a cookie? Well, what happens is they know that you want to book flights and they track it and they make it very expensive for you. NordVPN allows you to act like you're somewhere else, so you get the best possible rate on any flights you may book. It's also so cheap. It is comparable to the price of a cup of coffee. And guess what? One account allows you to link 6 different devices. So to grab your exclusive discount off your NordVPN plan, make sure that you head to nordvpn.com/Rory. And if you do that, if you use the discount code that I just gave you there, you will receive 4 extra months for free. And guess what? There's absolutely no risk. Because Nord give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/Rory. And obviously, the link is in the description below. Mykhailo Mudryk, a fascinating character and a captivating story. Do you remember the drama and the histrionics around his signing? He seduced us all with his speed and his YouTube highlights. He tantalised us with his skill on his debut at Anfield against Liverpool. He charmed us when he chose Chelsea over Arsenal. Do you remember the meltdown? It was glorious. And at the time, it really felt like Chelsea got one over on Arsenal. And then, to top it all off, we were mesmerised when we heard others talk about him. Zinchenko always speaks very highly of Mykhailo Mudryk, but it was actually what Roberto De Zerbi said. Just as Mykhailo Mudryk was about to put pen to paper on his Chelsea contract, Roberto De Zerbi, somebody who I admire, somebody who I rate, somebody who I like, had an awful lot to say about the potential of Mykhailo Mudryk. De Zerbi was his former manager at Shakhtar Donetsk, and he boldly expressed that he felt Mykhailo Mudryk was likely to be named at some point in his career the best player in the world. That's right. De Zerbi actually said that Mykhailo Mudryk was on course for a Ballon d'Or. However, we are now 9 months on from the moment that he chose Chelsea over Arsenal, and let's be frank, he can't get in our team. He gets nowhere near our first team, and this season alone, he has only played 67 minutes of football. The season is 4 games old, and Mykhailo Mudryk has featured for 67 minutes in total. Now, if that isn't bad enough, you have to remember what Chelsea have been dealing with. Chelsea have had a huge injury to Christopher Nkunku. So we've been looking for some sparks and creativity. And at no point has Mauricio Pochettino thought that Mykhailo Mudryk was the answer. I just don't know what we're going to do about Mudryk. I really want it to work. I'm desperate for it to work. I think it can still work, although I don't know if I'm just being tribal and hoping and believing when all of the signs tell us that this transfer is a flop. It's going to go down as a flop. It's going to go down in history as one of the biggest flops ever. But I really hope that isn't the case. 9 months he's been at Chelsea. That is ages. And what have we seen for it? Not one goal. Nothing. It's amazing, isn't it? Because when we paid that £88.5 million, it felt like we'd got one over on Arsenal. But I don't even think the most blindly loyal Chelsea fan would even try and convince you that the replacement that was signed by Arsenal, Leandro Trossard, isn't, as things stand, a better player. Leandro Trossard does things that Mykhailo Mudryk can only dream of. Leandro Trossard's output for Arsenal has been so much more significant than anything that Mykhailo Mudryk has done for Chelsea. And I think it's fair to say Leandro Trossard is a better player, would have been a better option, and overall will be looked back on as a better signing than Mykhailo Mudryk. Do you know that Mudryk has only completed 90 minutes for Chelsea once, on one occasion? It was actually a defeat, a 2-1 defeat to Brighton. But that's the only time that he featured for 90 minutes. He's young, he's hungry, he's fit, he's 22 years old. Chelsea need a spark. Once! And look, England are about to play the Ukraine again in a Euro 2024 qualifier. And on some level, I think this could be a platform. This could be an opportunity. This could be the moment that Mykhailo Mudryk plants himself in the consciousness of Premier League football fans and announces himself to the country. But it feels like a major case of deja vu here. I remember making a video on this channel back in March when England played the Ukraine last time. And I was saying, this is the moment, this is the time, this is when it's going to happen. And let's face it, that day was a total and utter disaster. Gareth Southgate attacked Ukraine's left because he felt like Mudryk was a weaker option. He felt like Mudryk's ill discipline on defensive duties was going to be easily exposed by England. And it was true. Mudryk was subbed. It was all a little bit uninspiring. And England won comfortably at Wembley. Yet again, Mudryk looked lost in London. He just hasn't settled. He hasn't settled at Chelsea at all. And I just don't know what we're going to do here. But the potential is there. This is why I keep going round in circles with it. We gave him the longest contract in Premier League history. So we obviously believed, we obviously saw something. The fact that Arsenal was sniffing around him also inspires me, because whatever you think of Chelsea's recruitment, generally speaking, Arsenal under Arteta have got their recruitment spot on. So the fact that Arteta really did want Mudryk must mean that there's a player there. We've seen him scoring goals in the Champions League. Roberto De Zerbi is an incredibly shrewd operator and knows what he's talking about. Zinchenko has played with some of the best footballers in the world. So something is happening with Mudryk, and it can be put right. I just don't know how we do it. Maybe we need to be sympathetic, or at least more sympathetic, to Mykhailo Mudryk, to the man that he is, to the person that he is. 22 years old is incredibly young. He has left his home for the first time. Obviously, it's a place that's currently being ravaged by war. He's away from his friends, he's away from his family, he's away from his parents, both of whom are teachers, and they're still there. That's got to be a concern. That's got to be a worry. He's got friends there. Obviously, that's a concern. And, maybe we should stop and kind of explore what toll all of that information takes on such a young man and such a young mind. But the performances just haven't been there, and there have been other things, haven't there, away from the game. Mocking people in a gym, things like that. All totally unnecessary. There is also the fact that, he hasn't played well. He hasn't looked good. He's been all over the place. He's been shoddy, he's been off colour, off form, and downright atrocious. But I could quite easily be talking about virtually every player at the club, couldn't I? I could quite easily be talking about the boardroom. I could quite easily be talking about the club as a whole. So it's not easy to shine when everything is going wrong. It's not easy to be the player that you want to be when there is turmoil and turbulence, and nobody really knows what day it is at Stamford Bridge. How many managers has he had since he's been at the club? 3 managers in 6 months. 3 managers in 6 months. So of course it's difficult. Of course it's difficult to find your feet. You want continuity, you want stability around you when you move to a new league in a new country with a new language. And everything around you is totally up for grabs. Everything around you is incredibly bumpy and incredibly unpredictable. So we do need to think about what's going on. Now, however, there really isn't any excuse. He's been at the club a long time. He's been in the country nearly a year. And crucially, he has a manager whose reputation is built upon meaningful relationships. He is a manager who is known for cultivating friendship, love, passion amongst his players. If you listen to that Dele Alli interview, which is painful listening, but if you listen to what Dele Alli says to Gary Neville when he speaks about Mauricio Pochettino, he speaks about him in such glowing terms. He says that he has a far deeper relationship with him than anyone else in football. He says that he wasn't just a manager, but he was somebody who cared about him as a person, both before and after football. So Mudryk now has the perfect person to help him find his form. However, it's Pochettino's decision. It's his reasoning that has led to the fact that Mudryk has only played 67 minutes so far this season. He came on against Forest when we needed something out of the game. He did very little, but he did come on. So Pochettino saw him as a potential answer, but I think there is more insight. We gain more, we gather more information about the way Mauricio Pochettino feels about Mudryk when we analyse the starting lineup and the formation that Chelsea are adopting. Ben Chilwell, our left back, a known left back, a player who is only a left back, is preferred to Mykhailo Mudryk on the left wing. That is huge. It's so huge, I'm going to say it again. Ben Chilwell, a left back, only a left back, is preferred to Mykhailo Mudryk on the left wing. When you are being overlooked for players who are playing out of position, I think the writing is on the wall. This was very apparent when Erik ten Hag played Luke Shaw as a centre-half over Harry Maguire. And the fact that Mauricio Pochettino is playing Ben Chilwell as a left winger over Mykhailo Mudryk is terribly concerning. Also, let's remember that Pochettino turned to both Cole Palmer and Noni Madueke to save the game before he turned to Mudryk. No player at Chelsea has worse dribbling statistics than Mykhailo Mudryk. That's what he's meant to be. That's the whole point of him. Everything that we learned about Mykhailo Mudryk before he signed for Chelsea, when Arsenal were sniffing around him, what was he meant to be? He was meant to be this direct winger, somebody that gets behind players, somebody that drives at the heart of a defence, somebody that goes for the jugular, irrepressible because of his ridiculous pace. The only time we ever see him running at full pelt is when he's giving the ball away and he's tracking back. Also, if the manager doesn't value that, if the manager doesn't set up the team to make use of your electrifying pace, then what's the point in having it? Everything that we know about Pochettino doesn't suggest that he wants to enhance his team or make his team in their most potent and attacking best by utilising pace. Think about the players that he really embraced at Tottenham. None of them particularly pacey. Dele Alli, not known for being fast. Harry Kane, not known for being fast. Christian Eriksen, not known for being fast. Their beauty is in possession. And I think that's what Chelsea are trying to do. So Chelsea have signed a player who is known for his explosive pace. And we've then employed a manager who isn't really going to utilise it. And ding, 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 ding. In fact, can we put a sound effect in right there? We're back to the running of the club. We have signed a player who is not conducive to play in the new manager's system. We have signed a player who is excellent and excels in one attribute, and we have signed a manager who wants to enhance a team built around other attributes. No cohesion, no foresight, no forward thought, no pre-planning, complete and utter disarray at boardroom level again. But I honestly think the writing's on the wall here. Two reasons. The fact that Ben Chilwell played over him in his rightful position, and the fact that when Christopher Nkunku got injured, we did not turn to Mykhailo Mudryk. In fact, we turned to Carney Chukwuemeka, didn't we? How low down the pecking order is Mykhailo Mudryk? I wonder what question has to be asked to Mauricio Pochettino for the answer to actually be Mykhailo Mudryk. It's so confusing, isn't it? It's a total enigma. But I really do want your thoughts on this, so please comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Mykhailo Mudryk, the Mykhailo Mudryk dilemma. How do Chelsea solve a problem like Mykhailo Mudryk? I really have no idea. But I wonder now, nearly a year into the project, if Mykhailo Mudryk is now to be considered a flop. And in fact, considering the money and the length of contract, it's the capo di tutti capo of flops, isn't it? The flop of all flops. Thank you so much for watching. Really interested to hear your thoughts. The second I put this video live, I'm going to be checking out what you have to say. Please click subscribe if you're new around here, and I wish you all a good day in a bit.